James, role this year, last year, obviously you didn't get to play a ton. So now that you're playing, do you feel a different role? What's your thought processes going into games now as compared to last year?
Obviously, I haven't got much playing experience yet. So this year, I'm just trying to get into my role, do what coach brought me here to do, run to the rim, run down the court, box out, block shots, just try and be like a defensive anchor type player and just try and fit into my role. And I think I'm getting there over time and going to keep going hard in practice and try and get into that role as the season goes on.
Could you learn anything last year in watching and practicing, or is it so much more important to get game experience?
I think because last year I tried to watch as much as Lodi playing basketball as possible. Just I like the energy he brought to the team. I think every team needs a person like that, like a glue guy, an anchor. So I think part of it is paying attention to the seniors, people who have more experience than you. And another part of it is obviously game experience because I'm not used to that type of environment yet, I guess. But just trying to get into that mindset of I'm in a game, I've got spots to be, I've got roles to fill. So I'm just trying to get into that. So, yeah.
James, I'm kind of curious, when you signed last year, kind of the word on the street was as you were playing in the red shirt your first year, because obviously you still had a couple of years of high school you could have gone to. But then obviously you end up playing that first year. So I'm just kind of wondering, at what point did you think maybe, okay, I can do this, maybe it's beneficial if I just go ahead and play my first year?
I think last year would have been a lot easier if I didn't get injured, because that kind of put a wrench in the works. And at that point, I didn't really know what was going to happen. I just rolled with the punches, I guess. But there wasn't really. After I got injured, it was less clear. But all that matters is I'm healthy now. I hope to be healthy for the rest of my time at WVU. So I hope to help the team any way I can now. So.
It seems like you're almost kind of learning under fire this year when you go out there and all of a sudden you're asked to guard Zach Eady, or you're asked to guard Nunji, who's another 7-footer. And they have the experience. They've been around the block a few times. So what's that experience been like for you?
It's actually been really helpful. Like guarding Eady was I've gone from not playing my entire first year to guarding a 7'4", 290 monster. So I think just trying to stay locked in, not being too distracted with who I have to guard, just trying to stop the ball and just slow my defensive matchup down as much as I can, like coach wants me to do. And I think just the more I'll play, the more efficient I'll get in that aspect. So, yeah.
Eventually you get used to it, right?
Eventually, yeah. Jimmy's a big kid. He's a big kid.
What is it like, 7'4" guy, 290 pounds? I mean, and you're trying to, you're physically very, very equipped for a lot of things, but no one's equipped for that.
I think it was just a matchup that we just had to stop, and we tried our hardest, but you can't teach 7'4", 290, so it's not a whole lot I could do there. But should we try to stop him? We tried really hard. So.
James, third year in the United States?
Third, yeah.
Are you adjusted? Are there things about home you miss? Are there things here that you couldn't get at home that you like?
Obviously, I'm always going to miss my family. That's a big part. I got to see my brother down at Xavier, that was really nice. I only get to see him once a year out here. But obviously, I'm going to miss my family. But when it comes to basketball, when it comes to West Virginia, there's nowhere else in America or the UK that could prepare me as much as they have here. I came in 218 pounds as a freshman, skin and bone. Now I'm 235 pounds, 6'9". I've grew into my frame a lot more. I'm more athletic. So I don't think anywhere else could possibly do that for me. I think Sean Brown's done a wonderful job with me and the rest of the guys, especially Jimmy, but I don't think anybody else has been able to prepare me like they have here. So.
How's your game changed, too?
From last year?
When you first got to the United States, when you were in Beckley?
I think just the importance of realizing that every team needs that one athlete and that glue guy that holds everyone together defensively. I think I'm equipped for defense specifically, I can box out. I'm pretty strong. I'm pretty athletic. I have pretty good vertical. My stamina's pretty good. And I think if I can just learn how to get to my spots a little bit better and learn how to just run the offense a little bit better and take my scoring opportunities, I think it'll benefit the team.
On your scoring opportunities, you've attempted a couple three-pointers this year. Is that an area
that was
you to get to? I assume not, right?
I think that was just more freshman, the inner freshman in me. The lack of experience. I thought I was open on those threes, so I took them. And I guess if it was too early in the shot clock, those attempts, and I don't think that's what we wanted against the 7'4" Takidi. So I think we could have got a better look out of that. So that's just building game experience and just better habits on court.
The World Cup been a little bit of home for you?
The World Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the France matchup. I think we're going to go home. I thought we were going to beat the USA team at least 3-0. All of my friends back home were saying, when we beat them, you got to let your teammates know. And then we didn't win. So, yeah.
Yeah, Netherlands beat them 3-0.
Yeah.
James, what was your confidence level heading into this season, and where's it at right now?
Heading into the season? That's a great question. I think obviously last year was more of just a sit back and just take in as much as I can, and I feel as if athletically I'm pretty confident. Like everything and all the plays and everything coach knows that he wants me to do now, I think I'm pretty confident. I just want to go out there and get as much experience as possible so I can try and grow my on-court confidence as well. Like practice, I know what I'm doing. Play-wise, if he caught up a play, I could probably draw up in front of you. That's just what I did last year. Just sit back and just watch all the seniors, because we had a lot of old guys last year. Just watching what they did, what got them taken out. And I feel as if just when I'm playing, it's just going to start clicking quicker and quicker, so I can actually contribute to my team this year. So yeah.
You've also experienced a Big 12 schedule, unlike some of these transfers who have not played in the Big 12. But what are you able to take from that, even though you are still relatively younger compared to some of the other guys on the team? But what kind of can you take from last year's experience, just kind of sitting and watching, as you said, into Big 12 play in about a month?
You mean from watching, or like the 5 minutes I played in Texas Tech?
More the watching.
The watching, okay. I was about to say I couldn't get a lot from that 5 minutes. All I know is I was screwed. But I think just it's the people we play now aren't as in a non-conference schedule. They're not going to be as athletic. I think that's the biggest difference. The speed of Big 12 play is it's a lot more physical. It's a lot harder. It's a lot more grueling on your body. We're in West Virginia, so we got to travel a lot more as opposed to the Texas teams. And it's just everybody needs to be on the same page, and everybody needs to be on point with what coach wants us to do. And we are very close to getting there. And I think once that clicks, we're going to be a monster of a team, because we've got great pieces on our team. Everyone from Keedy to Jimmy Bell, who's an absolute monster. Trey scores it whenever he wants. Stevie's a massive bucket. We have the pieces to be great this year, and I think we will.
James, can you fill the blanks in on the tennis background? When did you start? How far did you go?
I want to say I started around 6 or 7, because my older brother played tennis, and then my parents picked it up, and then me and my younger brother started playing just because my older brother was playing. And I played for 7, 8, or I think 9 years. And then as I got to my first year of high school in the UK, I just switched to basketball, and that's when I started growing rapidly. So I think I had the tennis is where I got my hand-eye coordination and footwork from, and most of my agility. But I think it was important that I did that before I started playing basketball, because I had the fundamentals before I came in. So.
Was there, and they not AAU in tennis, were you in competitive situations? Was it a high school sport there? I'm not sure how that works.
It's kind of you just enter in tournaments, and there are certain grades. There's red ball, you start when you're younger, orange ball, green ball, and then yellow ball is what the pros play. You start that around like 15, 16, I think. Or it might be 13. It depends. I was tall, so I just went up. It's just you enter in tournaments. There are like grade 1 through 5s, 1s being the highest, and you just try and. I wasn't like seriously competitive, seriously competing in like grade 1s and 2s, because I was getting to that point, and then I just switched to basketball, and now I'm here now. So
you're joking about 3-point shooting for a guy your size, but just your exposure to basketball seems to be the time where big guys were stepping outside and taking threes and point forward stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked back at what back to the basket guys used to be like not that long ago, and like what a low post player used to be not that long ago?
Some of my favorite players are power forwards. Like I watched so much film on Kevin Garnett just to see how much like leverage he had in the post, like the speed that he had at like 6'11" was just insane to me. So I like watching him a lot. Tim Duncan, it annoys me because I always pick Kevin Garnett over Tim Duncan, and people don't like that for me, but it's fine. Dennis Rodman, not so much a scorer, but like again that athletic glue guy that you need on the team. Like rebound the hell out of the ball, run the floor, all that good stuff. I like 6'7", so some of my favorite players are power forwards.
Throwback guys not really like the new age.
Say again.
So like throwback players, not really like the new age stretch 5, stretch 4s. That's kind of what you've focused your development on.
I'll focus my development on whenever coach needs. So whatever will help us win more games, I'm all for it. If he wants me to be a back to the basket big, he wants me to be a two-way defender, if he wants me to step out and shoot threes, I'll do whatever coach wants for us to win.
James, how far do you think you could have taken your tennis? Think you could have been a tour player? I know that's saying a lot, but...
I don't think I'd be me. I think I'd be a lot skinnier if I was a tennis player. I don't think my longevity would be that good because there aren't many 6'9" tennis players around. So
once you're at the net, I mean,
it's over with.
How about the serve? How hard did you serve?
Devastating.
You can only imagine.
Yeah.
Who was the first person to suggest you come to the U.S. for basketball? Was that a hard thought? Of course, your brother was coming over, right? Is it the same time frame as he was coming to college here?
My brother introduced me to the American market, if that's what you're asking. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of coming here. That was an option. I didn't know that was an option. I was just 16, 15, 14, just playing club basketball. Not professional, just club basketball for my team. I did that for like 3 or 4 years, and then on like the third was when my brother went to, I think it was the third or second, he went to Iowa University for tennis. And then I was like, oh, I could get a scholarship through this. So my older brother, Oliver Okonkwo, kind of introduced me to that route that I wasn't aware of. But yeah, I actually had a teacher in my old school in the UK, first class senior school. He introduced me to basketball, and he was American in the UK, which I thought was a little bit weird. But But he introduced me to basketball, and he was a big Philly fan. So that's when I was like aware of American basketball, but not so means like getting a scholarship to come to a school like this.
How did you get to prep school in Beckley? How did that?
It was mainly ironically because of COVID. They cut our season short when the COVID outbreak initially hit, and we had to quarantine. So I just got my I had a bunch of clips from the parents on our team who would just record the games, and then I would take those recordings and then like edit them and put them like into a highlight reel, and then I put that onto my YouTube. And then my Beckley Prep coach, Beckley Prep IJN, WV under Tracy Justin Dempsey, he saw that and he reached out to me, and then that was the only opportunity I had to come to the States, and I just felt as if I had to take it, and I came to the right state. Hug saw me, and it's been wonderful since then. So
when you kind of talked about it, when you first decided to make basketball your sport, prior to that, was there much exposure to basketball for you?
Not in the UK. Not in the UK. I think now it's over the last 3 years it's gotten a lot better. But from like we don't have AAU. Like when I was in high school in the UK, there was an AAU. We didn't do travel teams. We just played a game like once a week. It's not. It's like the 5th or 6th most popular sport in the UK, which is outrageous to me. But I think now they're doing a lot better job at like bringing it back up, which is it's good. It would have been useful 3 years ago, but yeah.
Was there a process? I'm kind of wondering because it's not a popular sport. It's not played very much. There's not a lot of English basketball role models out there. So the process of taking the sport seriously, was that difficult?
I think it was just figuring out how I would do it. I didn't know. All I knew was, matter of fact, there's someone I used to play against in the UK. Well, he was in a different league to us, and I played against him in France one time because we had it was like I think it was called the Paris Lions Cup, and they had like one team from each country. My team, the Reading Rockets, we went to France. We played Poland, and that's where I played Jeremy Sohan, and he just kept popping up. He went to Itchen when I was in, I think it was my 2nd year of Reading Rockets, and then he went from Itchen to Lolomir, and then I was like, oh, so that high school option, that's an option. I'm looking into that, and then he went to, I think he went to Germany, and then he went to Baylor, and now he's starting for the Spurs. So I'm like, just watching that, like someone I used to play against, like watch that, like series of events play out. I just didn't know it was possible for a UK athlete, but I guess now I know. So.
Shows you the path. I
Yeah.
guess,
So you did a lot of this more on your own, it sounds like, then.
Yeah, nobody really cares about basketball in the UK, so I kind of had to figure that one out by myself, and by the helps of obviously my brother getting into a D1 school. So.
Have you ever connected with Tariq Phillip?
Tariq Phillip. I'm not familiar with Tariq Phillip.
He used to play for WVU and he competes on the Great Britain national team occasionally.
That's who coach was talking. Coach was telling me about that last year, and I forgot to look into it. Oh, that's gonna be horrible. I wasn't aware of that. I don't think I have. No. I need to be more social, I guess.
James, you got held out of a game earlier this year, and late in that game, Coach Huggins had a pretty long conversation with you. What was that learning experience like?
The one that I didn't play?
The Morehead State game?
Yeah. It was just, I feel as if I let down my team. That game I didn't take the warm-up seriously. I wasn't locked in, and I think that affected, like, we were supposed to kill that team by like 40, 50 points. So I don't feel as if, I feel as if me not taking that game seriously affected the team, and coach was justified in not playing me. And coach, he expects that from us to hold ourselves like self accountability and stuff like that. And he was righteous in doing that, and I feel as if now I haven't made that mistake again. So I think we're good on that aspect. So.
Running the stairs, your idea?
Yeah, that was my idea.
Punishment, or just because you had energy?
A little bit of both. It was more like self accountability, and I feel as if me not playing wasn't enough, and that was just my way of apologizing to the program, I guess. So.
James, you mentioned Jimmy a couple times, and other players who've had to guard him so that he can get in a role where he's just unstoppable. He scores every time down. What's it like being the victim of that?
The victim is that's a great analogy. He's like 70 pounds heavier than me. He's really strong, and I feel as if me learning how to guard people like that is a benefit for me, because if I get used to that kind of strength, which I'm still trying to get used to, it's been like 4 months, but it's fine. Trying to get used to that strength would be a benefit to me, and I think it's a benefit for Jimmy too, just because they have a lot of people like my type of build in the Big 12, so I think that'll be useful for him trying to get into his spots and stuff like that. So,
James, thank you.
all right, appreciate that.